All right, let's dive right into this explainer because you've got exactly 5 seconds to make a choice. We're skipping the slow intro today and dropping you straight into a massive, high-stakes dilemma. Imagine you're offered a superpower, but it comes with a devastating catch. Okay, Neon Blue, you have the power to end all suffering, but the cost? You lose the ability to ever feel joy again. Absolute numbness becomes your superpower. Or, Bright Orange, you feel everything fully. Pain, pleasure, all of it, in all its brutal reality. Which one are you picking? Decide right now. 5, 4, 3. You feel that? That sudden spike in your heart rate? That desperate urge to just pick a side? That's actually a carefully calculated pattern interrupt, locking in your attention. Your brain totally wasn't ready to make a heavy moral choice today, but by forcing this intense time constraint on you, we've essentially hijacked your scroll. But wait, we're not done. Here's your next impossible choice. Neon Blue, you forget exactly who you are every single time you fall asleep. Or Bright Orange, you forget who everyone else is every time you wake up. Are you losing yourself or are you losing literally everyone around you every single day? Pick one. 5 seconds on the clock again. Notice how this fast-paced countdown just prevents you from looking away? You can't check out. The entire structure of this explainer is actively using these editing mechanics, these rapid visual resets, to reset your attention span every few seconds. Okay, let's change the emotional stakes for a sec. Here's a win-win dilemma. Neon Blue, a personal teleporter so you can skip the daily commute forever. Or Bright Orange, a personal time stop button to just freeze any perfect moment. Honestly, both are genuinely amazing, but you have to give one up forever. But hey, before you lock in that final answer, let's pause the game and look behind the curtain. 65%. Congratulations. By sitting through those first few choices, you just blew past the 65% watch time gate. Now, this is the exact metric that modern media algorithms, especially on platforms pushing short-form content for 2026, use to decide if a piece of content is going to go totally viral or if it just gets buried forever. Now, you might be wondering why you felt so compelled to keep watching without actually getting any answers to those dilemmas. Well, it boils down to this fascinating psychological principle, the Zeigarnik effect. See, the human brain absolutely hates unfinished tasks or unanswered questions. By throwing these impossible binary choices at you and withholding any clear resolution, we basically created an open loop. Your brain is literally itching for closure that we're deliberately not giving you. And this perfectly illustrates the exact 2026 retention math we just used on you. Modern algorithms care about watch time above everything else. If you lose your audience in the first 10 seconds, boom, it's over. But by validating your click instantly and throwing you into a high-stakes game, we kept you right through that crucial 30-second drop zone. Clearing 70% retention in that first half minute and hitting that 65% overall gate basically tells the algorithm to push this out to millions. So how exactly did we do it? Well, we used this exact retention arsenal. We used pattern entraps, those hard visual resets every 5 seconds to trick your brain into restarting its attention timer. We used variable rewards to give you these unpredictable dopamine hits with bizarre choices. We used extreme contrast with those super bright neon blue and orange aesthetics. And most importantly, we used the illusion of urgency with a fake countdown timer. But here's the really wild part. These aren't just cheap editing tricks. They're actually tapping into deep, foundational moral philosophy. Section 1. The trolley problem connection, from TikTok to moral philosophy. The reason we're so deeply mesmerized by these rapid-fire would-you-rather games isn't just because of flashy editing. It's because they're modern gamified versions of classic moral philosophy. We're talking about the trolley problem, totally repackaged for the algorithmic age. Just look at this classic utilitarian dilemma. Neon Blue, watch one person suffer horribly. Bright Orange, cause mild discomfort to 1 million people. Suddenly, it's not such a fun game anymore, right? Scale changes everything. Do you focus on the intense pain of that one individual or the collective annoyance of 1 million people? And this brings us straight to dual process theory. Back in 2001, psychologist Joshua Green published this landmark fMRI study on how people respond to these exact types of dilemmas. He found that our brains actually physically light up differently depending on the choice. When a dilemma feels personal, like, say, watching one person suffer right in front of you, the regions of your brain associated with automatic, visceral emotion just light up. But when it's impersonal, like distributing mild discomfort to an abstract 1 million people, the regions associated with slower, more controlled reasoning take over. So the crucial point here is that when you're playing these fast-paced viral games, you aren't just killing time. The cognitive structures in your brain are actively waging a war. It's literally a battle between strict, rule-based ethics, what we call deontologism, which says harming one person is fundamentally wrong no matter what, and the greatest good logic, or utilitarianism, which just calculates the math of the crowd. As this quote, directly from the source material points out, quote, "We are not consistent utilitarians at all times, nor irrational dogmatic deontologists. Rather, a mixture in decision-making." Basically, what this means is that human nature is wildly complex and honestly pretty contradictory. Our choices in these binary dilemmas reveal that we don't just have one single consistent moral compass. We shift based on the framing, the stakes, and incredibly, based on time. Which brings us right back to that countdown timer we used at the start of this explainer. Research actually shows that when you force people to make complex moral judgments under intense time pressure, something fascinating happens. They're essentially forced into making utilitarian choices. By rushing people, their slower, controlled reasoning gets completely bypassed, and they fall back on a kind of instinctual, survival-based math. When we analyze the mechanics of human judgment here, it reveals how the very structure of these viral quizzes, the quick cuts, the 5-second timers, the bold text, literally forces your brain to bypass its nuanced philosophical logic and react purely on instinct. And media companies know this. By combining the Zeigarnik effect with time pressure, they've basically turned deep moral philosophy into a dopamine slot machine. Section 2, the final choice, the illusion of free will. All right, let's slow things down a bit. We've talked about the retention hacks, the quick dopamine loops, and the neurobiology behind these moral dilemmas. Now it's time to strip away the timers, take a deep breath, and look at a choice that doesn't just test your preferences, but tests your very understanding of reality itself. Here's a real existential crisis for you. Neon blue. You get to live in a perfect simulation where absolutely nothing bad ever happens, but none of it is real. Or bright orange. You live in a deeply flawed, messy, painful reality, but it's entirely true. Are you picking the fake paradise, or are you choosing the painful truth? And as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with the ultimate psychological open loop. No timers, no retention tricks, just a question that messes with identity itself. Would you rather discover that free will is a complete illusion, meaning all of us share the exact same determinism and literally nothing is our choice? Or would you rather discover that you are the only being in the entire universe with actual free will, leaving you with total, terrifying, lonely agency? Think about it.